breathe with me for a moment as I just come back into myself a little bit. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Stacey. Hello, Margaret. So incredible energies that we are in today, having an effect. For me, I feel nervous. I've got this nervousness running through me like I might for a big event or a date. And these energies are bringing us a nervous system upgrade. So what we're going through this month is huge. I've got pages of notes, but the general overview is that we are going to experience 4 major, let's call them light floods, and I'll explain what that looks like. Hello, Nat. Hello, Dana. So during this month, we've already had one. And so how this shows, how Gaia is showing this to me is, if you think that, Morena, Jackie, we are in constant rain, if you think about we're in this constant shower of rain, and then 4 times during this month, hello, Misha, we are going to be under what could be described as an industrial manhole, as though we're standing under that and we're in a deluge, this flooding of light. Hello, Anna, that is coming in upon us. So we're in this constant rain, and then we're in 4 deluges, like the biggest, heaviest light shower that you can imagine, and Gaia's calling it this flooding of light into the body. And then that will take us into the tipping point at the end of the month, where we are going to experience this solar flash. And so I've been showing some more things about that, but that's the kind of general overview. That is at least our ascension movement back through the galaxy. And good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Lucette. So it's exciting and massive, and light workers have a particular role to play. And so I will do my best to tell you clearly what I have that's come through over the last couple of days. Okay. So Gaia says, it is so close, my loves. So she is as a being, she is in a very serious mode because there is much to hold. And she is in this very calm space, but she is like the captain of the ship, the commander of the boat. She's making sure that everything is in place. Hello, Gaia. Hello, Holga. Hello, Donna Jean. So she is saying this month in particular, to any other month, to hold your light, that anything that is inorganic or against the primary organic function of our body and our earth is going to be in dissolution during this time, and especially during the first half of this month. We're going to be experiencing that in our bodies, and of course people who are only awakening will be perhaps having greater effects of that But anything inorganic or out of alignment with the organic dissolves over this first part of the month, or at least dissolves in large. So we'll probably watch it continue to dissipate out, but just on one level it dissolves during the first half. And so ask, and you can be doing this to self, ask that you be connected to your original divine plan blueprint and soul's highest and most aligned timeline and in my divine essence. Ask to be shown, to become aware, or to be in awareness of what is happening and collapsing around you. And I'm asking you, Gaia is asking us to be deeply compassionate, deeply, deeply compassionate for all of those who, and I've just got goosebumps all over me. And I've been really, really close to tears today. It's these sort of this overwhelming, I guess, energetic of what is to come. It feels so, exciting and overwhelming. But we must, or at least we are being asked to hold compassion for all of those who are going to be confronted with new truth and who may feel maligned, punished, sick even as a result. They may be plunged into darkness and despair as we're going through so much, and we've already kind of, cut the path and led the way in those light workers in our world. So right now we're in the effect of the full moon, which has been this massive illumination, and it's come with creating a lot of heat in the body, and it's I'll just keep reading my notes. So yeah, this great reflection is available to us through that full moon that we've had, which we will feel the effects of an integration over the next few days. But it's there's a lot to it actually, because it's as though we've had this back to back. It was as though we had this downpour that was then expanded by the full moon. So Gaia said, allow the great light of this full moon to shine its light on any aspects within self still requiring attention or healing or dealing with or needing soothing or salving. And she says to visualize this crystalline light. Now, let me tell you about this light. This light is, if you can think of light being dense, this light has this absolute density, and it's the whitest, most crystalline, most sparkly, dense light that you can imagine. So if you think of this, the whitest light in here, in her hair, and sort of around this flower of life in her heart, it's got this iridescence to it, this sparkliness to it. And then think about as though you were in a shower of that is about 800 wide, 800 millimeters wide. For those of you in feet, think think 3 feet. 3 feet, a meter, a yard. That's close enough. So it's about that wide, and it comes in this deluge, this flooding of light, and it has this after effect. And yes, thank you, Charlotte, for reminding me. I want to for us to hold space for baby Will. So she says, visualize this crystalline light moving gently yet powerfully through your body. So you can visualize it moving through your body from top to bottom, from head to feet. You can visualize it showering you all around and through all of your chakras and all of the pores of your skin and up through your feet and up through your spine, coming in all and every way. You cannot see it as, that it's like you're in a shower, but it's there. This light is everywhere, as though you're in a bath. So illuminating anything that is surplus to your newly ascending form. So we are, honestly, we are already in, and you will know this, but we're already in this ascending configuration. And watch those things that are of no longer relevant to you kind of rising up like little particles, rising up, and dissolve them into light, and then integrate them back into you, because this is all a part of you, and you're dissolving and healing and integrating, and you're going through this great transformation, this great morphing, this alchemizing. The world is changing. This is clear to see. And hold faith and trust in knowing that we are arising and transcending and ascending as human sentient species and planet. So guys, says hold this steady in your field. This is our greatest job as light workers. And be in the practice of deliberately and intentionally flash flooding in little short blinking light washes. That's quite a nice imagery. Into all and any shadows or darkness that you see, and upon all who you come across. You don't need to go around proselytizing. You're just going around flashing these little bits of this light into those corners. Also be feeling, so there's been this yesterday especially, but today it's taken on a different kind of shape, but it's a different intensity. So imagine there's been this diamond shape that comes from the throat through to the heart and down into the top of the solar plexus. And so we've had almost as though we're, it could feel like you're on this like being screwed open, wound open through here, and then particularly intense in the higher heart today. So so this light that's been coming in the last couple of days, forgive me, I do get lost in the time frame, has a particular focus to illuminate hearts to a new level, to a higher aperture or focus. And much will be revealed of deep truths from within as we are processing that. The heart tipping point for many, guys said, will be reached over this time, where the heart becomes the driver. So for many during these few days now, the heart's really going to come into its own, into what we know its real function is, which is that, this is the place from which we drop in and connect into our higher divinity to gain clarity and guidance about decisions and processes. And so she is saying that it's going to take many into past that, into that tipping point over these few days where these heart activations enable true feelings to be felt and seen and answered. The passion and desires come into focus and the heart pulls. So this extreme kind of charge really from the heart, this you could think of it as almost tidal, really. The way the moon pulls the tide affects the tidal influence, moving in and out, those waters moving in and out. You could see it, feel it as that. So she says, yesterday she said, the heart-mind equation, or the seesaw of it, tips into the heart ruling, and this will necessitate and bring an urge, much sort of alteration and amendments and a change in direction for many. Remember, this is all about you lining up with you, your mind, your body, and your soul. So an exercise that you could do during this time is to check in with all aspects of self. And so it could be the whole gamut, depending on where you're up to. It could be your masculine aspects, your feminine aspects, your child aspects. Check in and see, is there anything more there to attend to? All the roles you've played, you know, mother, father, daughter, brother, sister, aunt, the jobs that you've had and the roles that you played in those. And then all the multi-dimensional soul aspects and pieces and fragments, and call them all back in, all the layers and levels of self, and observe what arises as you do that. So observe what may come in that creates some kind of internal contrast or conflict, and weigh it up and have a look at it and feel into it, and resolve it from that more detached but sensory feeling, any of those sorts of ideas that flash across. So just observe that, and during this exercise, anything that does, it's fairly likely that you will be able to just transmute it. So you can just hold it in your light and watch it and see, does it dissipate or not? And if it doesn't dissipate, there might be a bit more work to do. But ultimately, anything that is not of this organic structure, or that is against the organic sovereign nature of our earth and all sentient beings, will be dematerialized during this time. Anything that's not of love. So we are moving from the singularity, from this duality, into unity, and into love, and into this higher divine love, as we are moving in this very physical way, really. It's like a shift from maybe working, and I think I may have spoken about this a few days ago. It's like this shift of working in just here to working right here in this physical. So you're going to hold this higher reality as you're becoming all that you are. And so I would invite us right here, and that's what came through yesterday. So I have more that is here from today, but I really want to just express a little bit and about, I'll just check in here for just a moment, but if you could take a couple of breaths, and I just invite you to drop into your heart space. And if you live in New Zealand, you'll be aware that there have been a series of actions taken that are unconscionable, really, and beyond belief, about this little boy who has needed a heart valve transplant and is a twin and is 4 months old, and his parents arranged for live blood donors of unvaccinated blood so that they could give their child the best opportunity to move through this operation without having any tainted vaccinated blood. And they had 19 or 20 donors that were a match all lined up, and the hospital turned them down. The hospital and the blood bank turned them down. And they went to court about it because they wanted to have the highest likelihood of success for their little boy, who's named Will. And I mean, in our world here in New Zealand, there have been other cases where people have been granted these particular requests for blood for various reasons. It's not outside of precedents set in our country. They were turned down, and then the court ordered, then the hospital asked for governance of the child under the auspices that the parents were, well, they were called conspiracy theorists, I believe, under the auspices that the parents were not having the interests of the child at the forefront. And then apparently last evening at 11 p.m, the police went to their house at 11 p.m. and wrestled or took, I haven't seen it, but who took this child from its mother's arms and took it into hospital, where it is, I believe, in surgery at the moment. So I would just invite you to hold the highest love that you can for this entire situation. I believe that there is a higher order, a higher light at play here, that this little boy will be fine. That this is like a soul arrangement, and it's to take us, it's to illuminate something that has been very hidden here in our country, and I'm not sure of all the ins and outs of it. I was just about to tune into that deeply when I realized that it was time to be here. But I hold in my heart that he will be fine. What is exceptionally distasteful is that this little boy has been used for political means by our government and by our government authorities, and that this has not been done for his highest good. He's been used as a political pawn, as have the parents. And the parents, when you feel into the energy of those parents, oh my goodness, they are so, well, they are deep in their faith, but they are so deeply loving to all of their children. And so this, I believe, has been a contract that they made in soul to assist in like pulling back the curtains here on something that needs to be seen, that needs to, shake the very deeply asleep. And I believe that that's what one of the higher aspects of this is about. And it brings us back to this fundamental right as humans, as parents, to make choices for self and on behalf of our children. And so this is irrespective of the conditions, this has been wrested from them. And it's it's such an archaic action that's been taken by our government authorities that one would think that we were back in the Middle Ages, that we were, back in the ancient times where children, why can't I say children? We're children because I want to say rested, W-R-E-S-T-E-D, rested from the arms of their parents, as happened to our early Aboriginal, Indigenous in Australia, where governmental agencies went, and they're called the stolen generation. I did a lot of crying in my life when I found out about that, but they were taken from their parents, their mother's arms, under the belief that they could be taken and educated and raised in a way that was better than what their mothers could offer. And really, this is as ancient as that. And I was horrified to discover that that is not too ancient, and someone might know the date of or the era of that, but this is that. It's just unbelievable. And so I believe that part of it is this great sort of shaking awake of people who at least will endeavor to look for the truth, that this is being kind of shaken out so they can be so this can be seen for what it is, which is overreaching. And so that's been happening in a very strong way around the world, and it has been happening in a particularly strong way here in New Zealand, and we're not the only country that's suffering in that way or been suffering in that way. However, he is well protected by the light, and he is this, if you saw an image of him, he's this gorgeous, beautiful, shining light. He holds a very special light, and so this will all be fine, and it will be disturbing for many people. And so we just hold this for what it is, which is this. There's this higher reconfiguration going on here. Yes. Well, let's see then in here. And then I'll come back to what's come through today. Oh, there's lots of comments in here. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Upper body burning pain in a heat is crazy. Yeah, it's very. I think, not being the astrologer, but I think that's to do with Mars. A lot of this inner heat. It's it's all to assist us in transmuting what isn't required. This was going to happen earlier this spring, and I remembered that day and felt the energies, but then it didn't happen. What's different this time? Well, I think what is different about it is the level of intensity and the level of illumination and the frequency and vibration, which is higher and finer. Masculines are very emotional, yes, and that is for sure. And they are, that's why you'll be feeling that. So if you have a connection with a masculine in your life, because they are learning to navigate from their hearts, and so their hearts are being opened very, very strongly. Where are you, Misha? This area is covered in a mist blowing in from the ocean. Flowing through, Holger's saying, your sacred heart, flowing through self-created space of purest love, light, and joy. Feel it to be free. Exactly. Great process, Holger. That's great instruction. Hi, Donna Jean. Very tired. Yes, so I do have some information about why we are so tired. So I will get to that. I'll just I think I wrote some notes about it, so I'll check in here in case I didn't write them down. Ears ringing. Yeah, it's it's like reminds me of for whom the bells toll. So it's like we are getting forewarning. That's how it feels, forewarning of sounds coming through the sonic waves, and feeling it quite strongly in our audio or our inner audio or our higher audio systems. Oh God, yes, ringing, heart pounding, and flipping about, vision fading. Yes, it's go and get that checked if you're unsure. But certainly those are all symptoms of what many, I suspect, are experiencing, and are saying struggling to fall asleep and then really struggling to wake up. Yeah, because of a number of things. I'll note that down too, Anna. Upper back pain. So, excuse me, the upper back pain is likely to do with the heart chakra expansions, because the heart chakra, we have the sort of internal rare aspect of that in the center of our back, sort of between the shoulder blades, the exact rare connection to the front. Hello, Fiona. Hello, Lucette. Hello, SKM. Glad you're here. Big love to you too, Fiona. Charlotte's been in tears for the last few days into regards to baby. Well, yeah, so, you could see that his angelic presence in this situation, I will tune in more deeply, but I want to tell you, he's a very big soul who's come with a very big mission, and that he is bringing awakening opportunities to many. And he's become this international figure as have his parents, and they are really forging the way to reignite those templates in a way of family unity and family sovereignty. And it's been impinged, and it's becoming obvious, and there will be many people who will be being invited to put themselves in their shoes and to feel into that. And so this is going to have this big impact across the world. Hello, Becca. Lovely to have you here. Big love to you too. Lauren saying, want to help the masculines. Yeah, so you can, and I'll tell you how, because there's something I've written in here that applies to that as well. And Lauren, yes, that is regarding the blood donor. Hello. Oh my goodness. Melanie, I think. Love and gratitude to you. Lauren had a dream where the masculines weren't bottling up their feelings anymore. Yeah. So this is their dissension into their heart and the expansion through their heart and this recognition. So they are feeling huge pull from their heart. So they are moving from their ego mind into their heart, and then back into their ego mind. And then the heart pulls them back in. And then they are moving into their common sense, practical, let's do it. And so that takes them back into their mind, and then into their ego, into their 3D. So it's their 3D, their ego, and their mind is up here. And so this is their default. But at the moment, their heart is having a greater force than their mind. But then there's the default. So they get pulled into here, and they're in their feeling body, and they're in their emotional body, and they're in their heart, and they're having these feelings, and they're having mind flashes, and they're having dream flashes about their divine feminine, and then their little ego mind, their little common sense mind. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. It's the smaller mind. This is the greater mind. So it's this back and forth, but this greater mind, this greater consciousness, this higher, more evolved aspect of their heart is pulling it down into here, where they will be spending more and more time, and the resistance will get more and more difficult. Relief in progress felt. Yeah, there's definitely in terms of that, we've come, I guess I might as well just address it here, and I'll maybe timestamp it. It's like there's this, I believe anyway, that the divine feminine have come into this sense of ease with it, of peace with it, as though there's this deeper knowing that this is all orchestrated and in hand, and not in your hands or my hands. It's not in the hands of the divine feminine anymore. The only thing that you can do is be in your heart and be in your higher divine mind, focusing on your own work, on your own evolution, on your own transmutation, and then you're keeping your field clean, and you keep clearing out, and you keep transmuting as you're going through your own metamorphosis. And all of this does a number of things. It lights the way for them. You become a more illumined light. You become more magnetic. And then the other thing it does is it transmutes the field, and your fields are shared. So any of that you do is assisting them in their personal metamorphosis. And effectively, this is what Gaia has been speaking about for all light workers to do. But we'll get to that part in a moment. I'll just carry on with this. The red. I know, he does, Charlotte. He has the most incredible big blue eyes, and he just has the most gorgeous, gorgeous heart. And everyone will fall in love with him. So Chris Little, hi Chris, is saying will be fine. Yes, he will. He will be protected. He will thrive. He will be loved. He will have victory. He is already our hero. God bless his parents and his twin. Yes, because his twin is incredible as well, and holding space for his brother. Yeah, beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Charlotte's saying, watch the video before. Utterly appalling, but I know there is a far bigger picture. It's so just console yourself, Charlotte, with sending love and holding space for the highest outcome, knowing that there's this much bigger thing going on for everybody. Kia ora, Wellbeing Navigator. Hi, Heidi. Lauren's saying, as I'm speaking, she's got pins and needles being felt in her lower arms, all part of these higher energies. Yes, these higher energies they are like that. They're a bit prickly, but that's also related to this today anyway, or in the todayness, a bit before and a bit after, whatever that means, that we're having this nervous system upgrade. So we'll be feeling it through all of our nerve endings. I believe the will situation, whilst awful, is a massive lesson for many who are oblivious to the overreach of government, and will assist in waking up. Exactly, precisely, totally agree. They are a beautiful family, says Charlotte. So amazing, and so much strength. Legions for the greater good of humanity. measures in Florida for the mist. Interesting. Yeah, so we've really been asked to see through all of the mist. So, notes from today from Gaia. This full moon, we are feeling the effects of that, plus a solar storm that hit the earth in the last 24 hours or occurred in the last 24 hours. There was this effect of that felt here where I am yesterday. So we have been in accelerated uptake of light codes, then they are increasing our human upgrades from carbon to crystalline silica or silica crystalline and reconnecting more strands of our DNA. Though I've been speaking about that for a long time, and at the moment they are, if they could, but they are more accelerated, they are more constant. There will be very few spaces between this during this month as we move through these 4 of those deluges, and then a few days of integration, and then into this sonic boom, this solar flash. So excuse me, itchy nose. Apparently that means you're lying. I'm not lying though. So the nervous system getting an upgrade assists us in our level of sensitivity and in our interpretation of this information. So we're really learning to not just navigate and absorb and uptake this information. We are learning how to be more attuned to reading it, to feeling it, to interpreting it, to intuiting this information. But also at the same time, it's like you could see it as, and I'm sure I've explained this before, as little tiny explosions going off in your cellular structure, but also at the moment in these like fine strandings of the DNA strands being refused or reconnected. Yep, so 4 washes coming in as portals. It creates a tipping point, and then this wave, this ascension wave that comes as this further dimensional shift. So Gaia was saying today to visualize this as the white crystalline sparkling light that I explained earlier in the video, that we're in release, that brings us into this huge, extra, deep, intense purification that brings us the ability to have greater absorption and integration, and then into upgrading. So Gaia was showing me today that human ascension, if you want to visualize it like this, is quite an interesting new visual, that it looks a little bit like a comet. So imagining that all of the light awakened higher consciousness light workers form the ball of the comet, and that the tail, we drag the tail through. It's quite a nice concept, isn't it? So, we are forming this ball of awakened consciousness, and then the humanity that is not, that is just beginning its awakening, but it will through this month be more and more awakened. But as we move through that, it's like the energetics that we hold, the frequency that we hold, the vibration that we emanate, it pulls it through like the tail of the comet. That's the collective power that we hold as light workers. This takes us, feel this. I just so feel this in my heart. This takes us to a place of safety and of sanctuary, to regroup and reconfigure and to transfigure. So some of this tiredness is a result of increased frequency and vibration in the physical body. So this increased frequency and vibration, because it's fairly constant, the body is making adjustments to it. And Gaia says, as we harmonize all of this, the effect will lessen. So we just have to make do with this uncomfortable situation, knowing that our level of comfort is probably fairly high in comparison to what some people are going to experience. So this is both serious and exciting. And your role is to hold space for yourself to come into your highest alignment and soul expression, and then to stabilize in this frequency, and then hold space for others from that place or from that position. So it's the old story of in the airplane and the alarm goes off to put on the mask and it drops down. You put your own mask on before you put the mask on the children around you. So yes, it's that notion. So you get your own field stabilized and harmonized, and then what you are going to do is hold space for others to be impacted, affected by yours. So Gaia is saying we are going somewhere. So we're not leaving the planet. For those of you who are perhaps new here, we're not leaving the planet, but we are leaving this vibratory space, and we are moving further as a planet. The entire of the planet is moving through further into the photonic belt, further towards the galactic center or the great central sun, where we will be more and more bombarded with photonic light. And this is what we have been in preparation for, and as Gaia beautifully says, ascension training, ascension fitness. But primarily we are having this vibratory frequency increase. So this swap out of the lower occurs through a vibration change. The increase affects the entire body, but is now primarily being received through the heart. So although we are getting it through our crown and through our skin and through our feet and through our tailbone, what is coming in at the moment is primarily coming in through the heart. And a lot of higher heart heat energies in the body today. So coming in all ways now. And so you will feel that coming in through the energy centers, and you may feel heat internally and you may feel heat on your skin. So each portal or light shower, so those 4 that come through this month, is going to have a greater transmutation effect through purification and then illumination. So there's this in-out process. It definitely has this feeling of moving up. The energies moving out are the energies moving up. You might feel them as like a series of bubbles, but they're moving up. And so as you become more illumined, you are coming back to your avatar self. So each of these portals is creating the equivalent of an internal flash in the body. Each will be an upgrade, and each will feel and be a dimensional shift or a timeline jump, incremental intra-dimensional shifts. So within a dimension, we're having these little incremental shifts so that we can assimilate it more gently. It's this turning the dial slowly, but it will be huge for many. And so this is important for us to remember that, acknowledge that you know, whatever we are experiencing and going through, others will be experiencing that to a much greater effect. And so we stand in love and beauty and compassion and hold space for that. So now to the solar flash that's going to come at the end. this, or the end of this month. So she is saying that we may experience this. So there's a whole lot of things. So first of all, I need to get back to Anna's question. The sleep then awake is this process, the sort of this in and out process, this movement of the energetics, and because we are shifting dimensions or components of dimension whilst we are in bed, we wake up with the shift. Our body it gets heightened in its awareness and awakens to experience that in a more wakeful manner. It allows the body to move as you move the body around. It helps with absorption. It helps with assimilation. It helps with balancing the energies so that it doesn't end, to reduce any pain that we might feel in our physical form. So it doesn't end up sitting in the belly is what Gaia's showing me. So that it becomes more through the entire energy cells in the physical. So it's like wake up, roll over, even doing that. But that's the frequency. The physical body is being tempered. The physical body has to get used to these new energies, and so its response to it is, alert, what's going on here? I better wake up. So you can sort of see it as this high level of alert that the body's going through. So this solar flash, how is it going to look? Well, there seems to be a lot of information about it. Much of it is the same, but some of it is a little bit new. So there's this notion Gaia was talking to me about, is that we may experience a shudder through the body. So we may hear something, we may feel something, and we may see something. So the last flash, we will see it externally. These other ones are happening more internally. This will be both internal and external. We will see it. We will get a visual on it. So that's the visual component. It will be this flash of light. The second aspect, and I don't know the order of this, is that we may feel the shudder a little bit like the it took me back to that motion of the boat changing gears, that sort of grinding, sort of grunty shuddering, like that. So we may feel that as the planet moves, is what she is showing me. And then we may hear a sound. So we may hear like these celestial notes, these angelic tones, these angelic horns that may come beforehand. That may be a pre-warning, and we may hear like a sonic sound in our ears, in our auric field. Also, you may have like an intuitive hit to take some action, like to go inside, or to pull over if you're in your car, or to take a seat or lie down. You need to know you will be safe and held, that there are many beings and angelic beings and guides that are here to assist everyone. And you need to know that this is all overseen. It's all overseen by higher beings, and also by our higher self, who will guide us and give us suggestions. So there's nothing to worry about for you, or for your body, or for your children, or for your family. Soul knows their soul is just as amazing as your own soul. Higher self knows, and there's huge angelic help available for everyone. So we are in continual metamorphosis at the moment throughout this month, as this energy. Oh yeah, and that's right. So the energy moving up and out may be the primary physical sensation for the first half of the month. So this idea that this energy is bubbling up and moving out, and that might be the primary sensation for the first half of this month. Let me see here. This full moon, been feeling the pain of unrequited love that I felt when my DM and I went into physical separation in January. Is it just me? Anyone else? No, I think that's part of the, gosh, isn't it? It's felt never ending, hasn't it? But I felt like that was almost like pulling the last bit of rope out of the box for the feminines, maybe a couple of days ago. It's like, take it out, throw it to the wind, totally surrender it. It's kind of taken it to that point, I feel. Phoenix, body aching all over. Lauren, yeah, so in a way, I was saying to somebody earlier this week, so I'm showing that we become taller, and I was thinking about that in a physical brain way, and I was thinking, well, we have 33 vertebrae, and so 1 millimeter in that soft, spongy section between each of the vertebrae, and forgive me, I don't know the name of it, but 1 millimeter in each of those is 3.3 centimeters. And so I'm definitely showing that's, I'm not saying it happens overnight, but I'm showing that we do, our spines are expanding as well. We'll be a bit taller. I think we'll be ultimately a lot taller, but that's what I see in our physical form. Annoying thing is the tiredness. Physically feel tired and ache, etc., but struggle to sleep. Yes, it is, and I believe it's very annoying. And I believe that the greater aspect of that is to give us opportunity to really surrender, because remember that pain comes when we are in physical debate, physical resistance. And we need to really, the more that we can be in surrender, the more we can receive these light codes without pain. So, yeah, learn to speak to the body, just soften, just relax. Everything's okay. Jasmine, thank you for frequent upgrades. Really helps to see others going through similar experiences. For the first time, I've heard the trees speak, so I do feel the sluggish energies and yet lighter. Yes, and these will all be common experiences for many of you. So everything is awakening to a greater level. The trees really, they, in a way, they lead the way for ascension, because they are reaching into the higher realms and right down into the physical structure of Gaia, and they transmute, or they transport, but they transmute as well, but they transport so many of the codes, of the light codes, and into the waterways of the earth. And the trees have this incredible underground network of connection, so they pass on the information as well. And of course they are homes to many of our beautiful divine creatures on the earth. So we are holding space, but firstly for self, checking in, what's here for me through all the layers, all the levels, including the overview of mind, body, and soul, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. We are integrating it all of our multi-dimensional aspects of self and the feminine, masculine, and inner child. So in these codes of December, we're also working with the Trinity codes, which relate to the masculine, feminine, and child. So this triangulation is going to show up in many ways in our world. Triangulation in terms of people working together, and then many layers of triangulation. So there'll be maybe 1 point or 2 points that are common with another triangle. This foundational structure that holds strength and holds the Trinity, and we're definitely beginning to be feeling those codes coming into balance or into that triangulation, and we'll find out more about those. But these carry codes of joy and codes of unity consciousness and codes of creation. So these are the light codes that are coming in for us during this time. So we should likely feel more uplifted, more joyful. And then to close, hello Jen, to close, I really want to encourage you to be working with these energies in co-creation. But firstly, make sure that you've worked with your own embodiment. And when you feel that you're done with that, or in process with doing that, be in this co-creation of how are you going to feel in our new earth? What are the systems and structures that you want to see in place? How do you want to be in interaction with the environment? What skills and gifts would you like to explore and enhance and upgrade? What do you feel is your soul expression and soul mission? If you don't know, ask yourself, what am I to do through this time or in this next time? And know that you will get the answers. Don't get caught up with having it immediately, but that asking the question is the first component of that. So we are really in the most extraordinary, incredible, amazing times where we're going to be watching people wake up from their slumber everywhere and all around us, and there will be many things that come in provocation for that, so that the biggest number of people can be awake and aware for this experience. And so we hold space after doing our work for all of that to come about, be the witness and the observer of what is occurring around us and in our world, and sit and take yourself up and sit in the ethers and observe from there to get a bigger picture look, and know that all is well. And we are watching the last kind of components of the play play out, and we're watching people take various roles. And you can know that, in my view, there's been they've been swapped out. However that has happened, they've been swapped out. We're watching actors there. We don't have whatever is happening is happening for the highest good, to awaken, to arouse, to enable people to get out of their sleepy way of viewing, to enable people to garner unity experiences in the energetics. So that, they're gathering to hold space for something. And really, we want to be moving out of the energy of resistance, of anger, of battle, and into the energy of, well, we will raise this up and we will hold space for the highest and greatest outcome, for all the most amazing, incredible lessons that can come for the biggest number of people possible at this time, and hold this situation with all this beautiful love from our amazing, incredible, open, enhanced, and higher frequency divine lights and hearts. And we just keep doing that because we're in this ultra fast. So this month is going to, that's the other aspect of this month. It is going to be the fastest, quickest, boom, gone of any time that we have ever experienced. And the best and most important work to do is the work on self, because, a couple of breaths and we're going to be in our ascension movement and in our new fifth dimensional frequency, being very embodied in that newer dimension, and then moving into further co-creation. So I haven't even, honestly, I haven't really even looked at next year, and I'll tell you why. It's because what we're doing, or what I'm doing with Gaia now, is like the impetus for what comes next year. But every time I look at next year, at 2023, whatever it is that I'm looking at, it's full of sunshine. It's I was saying to somebody, it's bizarre, but it's as though I am. So this is the picture that comes, and I don't have any idea why, but it's like a postcard of the 1950s, and it's this, and it is a little bit unusual as well. So everyone is out picnicking, and they have got, let's imagine, Hyde Park, and everyone's got their checkered blanket on the ground, and everyone's dressed in, it's like Sunday best. It's like they're not, it's not casual. It's like it's casual, but it's dressy casual. It's bizarre. It's very postcard like. And so, for example, there's like the quintessential mother, father, and two children, and the picnic basket, and everything's laid out, and there's sandwiches and cake, and the father figure is dressed in sports trousers, a collared shirt, and a jumper. I mean, it's totally weird, and everything is peaceful, and everyone's smiling and happy, and the birds are chirping, and the dogs are happy, and there's sunshine everywhere. So I have no idea why it comes up looking like that, but what I do know is that it's full of this sunshine, of this beautiful golden light, and that's next year. Every time I dip into 2023, that's the sort of overarching picture of it. So then we will be in this reformation, really, where we'll be reforming, but there are a couple of aspects to that, and I haven't reconciled it. So on one level, there's this work to be done. There's this work to be done to move into higher divine principles through all systems, structures, operations, and ways of communicating and being with one another. And so that's on one level. And then on another level, it's like this instant instant transmutation into something higher. So I have seen both of those, and that'll be something that I'll check in with Gaia. But in a way, it's like to me, it doesn't really matter, because it will all be good. It will all be amazing. And so the work I believe, the work for us at the moment is this work right here in front of us, not to get too caught up with that. You can be in your creation of what you are going to do in your highest soul alignment, how you will be of service, because we're moving in all of those directions as well. So we're moving from service to others from service to self to service to others. So, you will be getting clues and inklings about what that might look like for you. But it's just that I've just felt guided not to go there, because the energy, I believe, and that's my internal guidance. I haven't even checked with Gaia about it, because I've seen kind of some of the aspects of it for years, but right now it's like focus here on what's in front of us, focus on this shift in time and dimension, because the more that we can do that in our internal systems and then impact it by holding that light, really the easier it's going to be for everyone. Right, so I'm about ready to close, but I'll just see. Hello Phoenix, and hello Golden and Tina, and last comment, I think, Lauren, all is well. This month is simply incredible, like 2 or 3 months energetically in one. Yes, absolutely, if not more. It's this phenomenal, intense speed, vibration, and frequency. Much love to you too, Lauren. Dawn, thank you. Yeah, whatever the outcome for this little boy there has it will serve a purpose. Thank you, Katharina. I did I spent 5 hours. I must catch up with her, because I don't remember too much about it, but I spent 5 hours earlier this week doing shamanic work with a woman who works with the Universal Mother Principle, and with Commander Ashtar, who sometimes instructs the two of us to work together. And so we did all sorts of things, and I can only remember snippets of it, but she had a good grasp of it at the end. She gave me a little review, but I was still channeling things. But yeah, we definitely here in this glow up, this illumined self coming into this higher illumined body, in this beautiful, divine, sacred space. And I send you so much love from my heart, and so much gratitude for holding space for me to bring this through for you. Was there something else I wanted to say? While I'm here, actually, I'll just add on to the end about some of the imagery that I got. May as well put it in here on the Divine Masculine. So I should have written the dates on this, but that's okay. So I wrote this as well. So we're going through this massive alchemical change and emotional healing. So there'll be a lot of emotional healing done for many during this month. That will be a main focus in terms of healing. But back to the Divine Masculine. So it was like I watched them. And so imagine your Divine Masculine as a teenage boy climbing this hill in front of you, and kind of having that wanting to make a good impression. You know how teenage boys do that? They kind of have that showing off movement of, look how amazing I am, look how muscular I am, look how fit and strong and able I am. So they were clambering up this quite rough surface and stumbling. And so I wanted to say that this is how some of them may come to you. So it may be that they are just in their slightly nervous body, wanting to make an impression and not quite pulling it off. And I want to say that to the divine feminines here, your role is to appreciate the effort and ignore it as though you didn't notice the stumble, because they are in this place of trying to garner courage. So appreciate whatever comes in genuine effort, as they are likely to have that kind of thing happen. And then the next thing that came is this heart versus mind. So this came through in a reading I did. It's like it's like, imagine this big burly man lying on his back on the ground or sitting on the couch, and there's a little tiny toddler, lying on top of him or lying on his knee and trying to lift the hand off his body when all he's doing is holding it there, and the little tiny child is pulling at the fingers trying to lift it off, but can't. So this is the illustration, the metaphor of the heart versus the mind. So the mind is now like that little child, and the heart is like the giant, the huge burly man. And so the heart is in that position at the moment. And the mind is being like the little child trying to pull it back, trying to pull the hand off the chest. And then the other thing I saw was spaceships trying to dock. So this is the divine feminine, this is the divine masculine, the spaceships in the sky. This is the docking point. This finger and this finger have to meet to dock, and the ships are at the moment, they're doing this, they're kind of coming in, not quite, coming under, not quite. And so we're in this motion at the moment. But remember that these connections hold a special place in Ascension. And I really haven't had too much of an opportunity to tune in on any more of it than that. But those are all the kinds of energies that I've been shown energetically, and I know that there are more and more connections, communications, the masculine showing up in our real world. Excuse me. Lauren's just said, had another CME, so that's a coronal mass ejection from the sun arrive as we are closing. So these flares and filaments and ejections from the sun, how I've been shown them as they are our codes. So they come in, they are our nourishment, our source food, and they come into our bodies to alchemize, to bring codes into our form as we're upgrading. And there is likely to be a lot of this occurring this month. I note that we've already had I think I can't remember, but we've had several volcanic eruptions. And remember that this is all about expansion. This is all about release. what we are going through, the earth is going through. So the tectonic plates moving is shifting, debris is heating up in its friction and simple science, and allowing the volcanoes to erupt and let loose some of the debris and let the pressure off as the earth is expanding. And this is the same that's happening within our bodies. This is life in action, isn't it? We've got people who are in different countries around the world having different experiences. So Dawn is saying ringing in her ears, is getting very loud at times, usually the right, but both more often lately. Yeah, and those are challenging, aren't they? Because they can be so painful. But cupping, so rubbing your hands and cupping, so putting your hands over your ears, so just creating a little bit more of an enclosed space, that can help. Ask your higher self to bring it into balance. Jasmine, during the 11/11 portal week, had asked the universe for an experience with her DM. During meditation, I saw a silhouette of him, and the energy was so loving it completely knocked me back into my body. Fantastic. Yeah. Couldn't keep the smile off her face for the entire week. Oh, bless. That's just beautiful. And more, there's more and more of that. They definitely are sitting, from where I view it anyway, they're sitting in this place of knowing. You know, they are just in this internal confrontation with self in order to get to where they have to be. And it will be amped up. And there will be, and we are having, you could say that a lot of this is, this divine light intervention for everything to come into alignment in the perfect place and timing. And the more that you can come into your highest alignment, the more ready your connection will be. It's 12202. It was, as I saw it. Okay. So much love to all of you. Many, many blessings. Big hugs. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you again soon. Thank you, Katarina. Oh, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. There was something else I was going to say about that. No, can't remember.